Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Siheyuan. Wrong door for bridal chamber. Blame me. Cao Guang, dressed in a 51-year-old courtyard, awakened the multi-child and multi-blessing system. That night, newlywed Qin Huairu went to the restroom and returned, but surprisingly walked into the wrong room. Can Cao Guang refuse? Taking a break tonight is disrespectful to Jia Dongxu and Qin Huairu. Qin Huairu. Please spare me, it's cracked. Jia Zhang. What a sin. Jia Dongxu. Cao Guang, you're not a human, I'm going to kill you. Cao Guang. Jia Dongxu, you are in vain as a husband, yet you have used Qin Huai Ru to embrace my reputation. Cao Guang. Jia Zhang, you are a mother in vain and have used your daughter.In.Law to frame me. Cao Guang. I despise you. Cao Guang. Pooh. Cao Guang. Lose money, you must lose money. You have to compensate me for my nutrition expenses, otherwise this matter won't be over. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. He Rainwater's light brother. You are listening at novel full.audio. 51 years. Winter. The sky is cold and the earth is freezing, and the north wind is howling. The courtyard was filled with joy and excitement early in the morning. Jia Dongxu also took a shower, washed his head, put on new clothes, and wore a small red flower pinned to his chest, smiling uncontrollably. As for the old lady Jia Zhang, as it was only May 1st, her charm still lingered in her 30s. Jia Zhang walked in the crowd, like a butterfly wearing flowers, hooked on the man in the yard, his eyes wandering aimlessly. As the saying goes, if you want to be pretty, be filial. Although Jia Zhang is not entirely filial, she is also the widow of her deceased husband, which naturally attracts people's attention. In addition, at the age of maturity in their 30s, adult men understand this charm and are much more charming than young girls. Jia Zhang also noticed the gaze of the man in the yard. She felt proud and twisted her waist, swaying her buttocks, walking even more charming. Young and old men, today my Dongxu got married and we are all neighbors. You must help us well. It's easy to say. They are all neighbors, we will definitely help. Jia Zhang, your pants seem to have stitched up. Let me help you take a look. Go ahead, I'll tear your mouth apart. Jia Zhang twisted her buttocks aggressively, avoiding Lao Su's lewd hands, but her eyebrows were somewhat proud. Especially seeing the gloomy face of old Su's wife, Jia Zhang became even happier and said, Su Damao, you can't learn from your father. You don't want any old face, humph. In the crowd, the little fart child he Rainwater was thrusting his clear snot. With a deep breath, his snot looked like 2 green dragons, and he Rainwater sucked it into his nostrils. She trotted to the next door of Jia Zhang's house, then knocked on a door with a thud. Who is it? Me, he Rainwater, Brother Guang, I'm hungry. Come on in. Jia. He Rainwater happily pushed open the door, strode his short legs, crossed the threshold of the door, and walked in. Suddenly, a charming aroma of meat rushed in. In front of the table sat a young man with sword eyebrows and starry eyes, but his face was pale. He Rainwater ran over and sat next to the young man, his dirty little hands about to go and fetch the nest head. Pop. He Rainwater raised his head in grievance and shook his painful little hand that had been beaten. Cao Guang said angrily, go wash your hands. Got it. He Rainwater murmured and reluctantly went to wash his hands, then quickly ran back and sat happily next to Cao Guang, grabbing his waowatu and holding chopsticks. He quickly picked up a piece of meat and put it in his mouth. Bang 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 bang. Rainwater's face is full of happiness. She nibbled on a nest in one breath. She was young and her stomach was already half full. Then he grabbed another one, perhaps because he had eaten almost enough. Rainwater ate slowly this time. Cao Guang eats even slower. There is a plate of fish and a plate of rabbit meat on the table. Cao Guang picks and chooses, some of which are not to his taste. His cooking skills are not very good either. Eating, Cao Guang coughed again. Rainwater asked with concern, "Brother Guang, your illness hasn't healed yet." Cao Guang looked helpless and said, "Hey, I've had an old problem. I've seen many doctors and they've all said that my physical condition is too weak and I have a root cause. This is a problem that came from my mother's womb. Let's take care of it slowly." Rainwater felt sorry and said, "When I grow up and become a doctor, I will treat Brother Guang." Cao Guang chuckled and couldn't help but rub Rainwater's messy hair, saying, "Hey, this relationship is good, it's not bad that I hurt you. By the way, what about your brother?" Rainwater's face darkened and he said, "I went to the Jia family early in the morning to help. It's not easy for my brother to take me with him. He always wants to maintain good relationships with his neighbors. Although Rainwater is young, the children of the poor have long been in charge, and she has understood many truths at a young age." Cao Guang snorted coldly, "Then I can't help but prepare breakfast for you, can I?" Isn't this Brother Yo Guang?" Rainwater licked his face and smiled, and Cao Guang didn't get angry anymore. "You little girl, you can suck blood at a young age. When I get married to Brother Yo Guang, can you pray for her kindness?" Rainwater was suddenly surprised and said, "Brother Guang, are you going to have a wife? Why haven't you heard the news?" Cao Guang's face darkened and he indicated, "Do I dare to spread the news?" Rainwater suddenly stopped talking. Although the neighbors of the courtyard helped with various matters, their hearts were complex and there were many people who caused damage. Especially, Cao Guang didn't deal with the neighboring Jia family, and Jia Zhang was even more ruthless. In addition, Cao Guang's health is not good, and he occasionally suffers losses. In the 4th or 9th year, Cao Guang traveled to this world through his body. At that time, Beiping City had just been taken. When Cao Guang crossed over, his body recovered to the age of 18 and regained his youth. But at that time, the flames of war had not yet stopped, and there was chaos everywhere, and one could lose one's life at any time. In addition, Cao Guang had no identity and it was snowing heavily. The weather was cold and the ground was freezing, so he didn't eat or drink. After enduring it for a few days, he passed out. Finally, he was rescued by a kind-hearted person, but he also fell ill. Cao Guang went to the Red Star steel rolling plant and found a job, and then settled in a courtyard house. He can be considered a person with status. 2 years have passed, and Cao Guang's body has become increasingly weak. Not to mention the issue of marrying a wife, even now that he is facing his own work, his weak body is somewhat overwhelmed. As for the conflict with the Jia family, it was because Cao Guang's 2 houses happened to be aligned with the Jia family. Jia Dongxu is getting old and wants to get married. He will have children in the future. In order to live more comfortably, he set his sights on Cao Guang's house. At first it was easy to negotiate, but later Cao Guang was unwilling. Gradually, the mother and son lost patience and started to compete with Cao Guang, both openly and secretly. Cao Guang is also speechless. If Jia Dongxu needs space after having a child, will Cao Guang not need space? I don't know what I think either. Rainwater rolled up his sleeves and said, "Brother Guang, I'm full. I'll help you wash the dishes." Cao Guang waved his hand and said, "All right, summer is fine. I'll take care of this big winter myself. You're young, don't freeze. Hee, thank you, Brother Guang. Rainwater smiled happily and said, I'm going out to play. Opening the door, the cold wind outside swept the laughter and joy of the courtyard into the room. Immediately, Rainwater closed the door again. Suddenly, it felt like two worlds were separated. Cao Guang shook his head and muttered, Jia Dongxu's wife is Qin Huairu, right? I heard she was quite charming when she was young. He was slandered by the Jia Zhang mother and son due to health reasons, and so far no one is willing to date him. At this moment, whether to consume energy to activate unknown systems, Cao Guang looked at the box that suddenly appeared in front of him and couldn't help but fall into contemplation. So, after traveling for 2.5 years, has there finally been a system? Dog day, if you don't come early, you won't be able to get married when you just crossed over. I can find more concubines to talk about. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 2. Jia Dongxu. Huairu, today's bridal chamber, you go. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ding, the family system has been successfully opened, ding. Every additional member of the host family will receive rewards such as lifespan, supplies, magical skills, etc. Ding. Family members include wives, children, descendants, etc. Ding. Twin, Dragon and Phoenix, have a chance to receive critical strike rewards, name. Cao Guang. Life. 20/2258 status. Suffering from a serious illness skill. Level 4 fitter, degenerating, wife. None descendants. None inheritance. None. Cao Guang looked at the panel that appeared in front of him, his mind wandering for a moment. So, he traveled for 2.5 years and awakened the family system. Just now, he spent more than 30 years of his lifespan playing and immediately drew a lottery system. It's the family system. However, Cao Guang's lifespan is only 2 years left. Strengthening the family can reward lifespan and other rewards. So, my current task is to find a woman to start a family and start a business. It seems that we can't wait any longer. We need to take the initiative to attack. In Cao Guang's mind, a beautiful and lovely figure came to mind. This figure is exactly Lu Xiaoa. When Cao Guang traveled through this world, his body recovered from his 40s to his youth of 18. However, it happened to be a time of war, with people dying everywhere. In addition, it was winter, the weather was cold and the earth was freezing. Cao Guang didn't eat or drink, and he didn't even have a place to live when he just crossed over. He was very confused. Then, in the midst of hunger and cold, wearing short-sleeved shorts, he couldn't bear the cold and went into a coma. Later, he was rescued by someone and entered the steel rolling mill as a worker, which was how he survived. For over 2 years, Cao Guang's fitter skills have finally improved and his income has increased through continuous efforts. But because his body was constantly weakening, he was weak and lacked strength, and his fitter skills were still there, but the amount of work he could do was decreasing. So, the degradation of markings on the system is also understandable. As for Lu Xiaoyi, Cao Guang had long been interested, but now that Lu Xiaoyi is the eldest lady, the Lu family has not yet reached the time to find a way out. Cao Guang has never been successful, but his relationship with Lu Xiaoa is also good. Rather than being cheap to Su Damao, it's better to be cheap to oneself. Moreover, when Lu Xiaoa goes to Xiangjiang to run away, Cao Guang can still find another one. Isn't this a win-win situation? The system came at the right time. It said that Qinhuai Ru is very fragrant, but Qinhuai Ru can't wait any longer. She's getting married today. Lu Xiaoyi, who is skilled, should not be far behind. Even if she has a bit of a lady's temper, it's nothing. Under Cao Guang's deliberate approach, Lu Xiao and Cao Guang were already very familiar, and the difference between the two indicated their emotions. Although Lu Xiao has a bit of a lady's temper, under Cao Guang's eloquent words, he believes that as long as he confesses, he should be able to deceive Lu Xiao into marrying him. As for the Lu family's unwillingness, everything will be finished when the raw rice is cooked and cooked. As soon as Cao Guang thought of Lu Xiaoyi, who was white, tender, water agile and young, he couldn't help but feel a little excited. Cough. As soon as Cao Guang became excited, he coughed twice and said, "Shit, I don't know if the system reward can cure my illness first. Even in this state, I can't have a child." When Cao Guang was studying the system at home. Outside. Jia Dongxu wore a big red flower on his chest, pushing his borrowed bicycle and walking out happily. Jia Zhang's smiling face looked like an old chrysanthemum. "Dongxu, come back early. Don't delay anything, everyone is waiting." Jia Dongxu laughed happily and said, "Mom, don't worry, I will definitely come back early." Watching Jia Dongxu leave. Zhonghai smiled with emotion and said, "Dongxu has grown up and married his wife. I'm afraid he will have a grandson next year, right?" Jia Zhang smiled proudly with disdainful eyes and said, "A rural girl. If it weren't for my family's Dongxu liking her, I really wouldn't have looked up to her. Humph, marrying Dongxu from our family is considered a high achievement for her. After all, I will be from the city in the future. Everyone knows that Qinhuai Ru is from the countryside, although I haven't seen Qinhuai Ru very much, and now city people are really popular." But when the eldest daughter of the White Flower family married and had not yet entered the house, Jia Zhang's words immediately made many people feel contemptuous. Because no matter what, we will all be a family in the future. With Jia Zhang's behavior, it is obvious that she is prepared to bully her new daughter. In law. Zhonghai's expression was somewhat unnatural. "I will be a family in the future, live a good life." Jia Zhang sneered, "That's for sure. If she doesn't live a good life, I'll let Dongxu drive her away. After all, she doesn't want to be driven back to the countryside, right?" As soon as these words are spoken, Zhonghai suddenly turned around and left. "Grandma's leg, there's nothing more to say to this woman, and we can't talk much." The other people in the yard, those with daughters, are all holding on to their own daughters and educating them privately. Did you see that? In the future, when looking for a mother.In.law's family, you need to first see her future personality. Jia Zhang is like this. Marry and wait to suffer. Brighten your eyes one by one, getting married is a lifelong thing. If you make the wrong choice, your entire life will be over. Just like Jia Dongxu, who is also obedient, Qin Huairu married over and felt guilty. Stop talking, it's none of our business. Hurry up and prepare for a big meal. Are you overthinking it? Can the Jia family give you a big meal? You haven't woken up, have you? Mada, isn't our gift money a loss? You wouldn't give a little less, would you? Qinjia village. Qin Huairu was dressed beautifully, blushing as she followed behind Jia Dongxu pushing her bicycle. Behind, there is also a group of envious rural neighbors. Huairu, will you enjoy your happiness in the future? Huairu has been beautiful since childhood, and now she has directly married into the city. This young man is Dongxu, right? Look, he looks so energetic. There isn't even a patch on his clothes. Huai is blessed. Qin Huairu lowered her head, her face full of shyness. Only the parents of the Qin family smiled a bit unnatural. Because Qin Huairu was young and couldn't tell what the Jia family looked like, the old couple still had some knowledge. If the Jia family were truly wealthy, they wouldn't be stingy with dowry money. But Qin Huairu was determined to marry into the city, and the old couple couldn't persuade her. Mom and Dad, you guys go back. Qin Huairu also waved her hand and her eyes turned red. It won't be easy to come back in the future. Jia Dongxu rode his bike, laughing with his mouth wide open to the bottom of his ear. Qin Huairu shyly said, Dongxu, will you be good to me in the future? Jia Dongxu answered without hesitation, sure, don't worry, I will treat you well. Qin Huairu immediately lowered her head happily. Entered the 49 cities. Jia Dongxu parked his bicycle at the entrance of the bathhouse and said, Huairu, go take a shower. Today's bridal chamber. Pooh, on a happy day, please wash yourself clean. Qin Huairu's face turned red and she said, I hate it. She took the money and ticket, turned around and ran in. Jia Dongxu chuckled and waited at the door with an excited expression on his face. Taking out a cigarette, Jia Dongxu lit it proudly and said, on the night of wedding candles. When I think of the white flowers washed by Qinhuai Ru, they are fragrant and soft. Jia Dongxu was smoking quickly, as if this cigarette was Qinhuai Ru. He can't wait to go back to his bridal chamber. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 3. Qin Huairu. Bathing doesn't count, do you still want me to brush my teeth? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Bathhouse. Qin Huairu blushed and rubbed herself. He muttered to himself, Dongxu is really amazing. He has already washed it at home, why bother washing it? However, today is a day of great joy. Qin Huairu is still very shy. Thinking of the words taught by my mother. So Qin Huairu secretly looked around and found that there were no outsiders. Start cleaning up some areas that cannot be disclosed to outsiders. After all, on her wedding night, Qin Huairu still wanted to leave a good impression on Jia Dongxu. I took a shower for an hour. Qinhuai Ru found that the powder she washed was tender, white, tender, and water was refreshing. The whole person was still filled with the fragrance of a young girl. She wiped her hair, changed into clothes, and shyly walked out of the bathhouse. At the door, Jia Dongxu was shivering all over with cold, and his legs were numb from squatting on the ground. Jia Dongxu roast. This Qinhuai Ru, why is it so slow to take a bath? As he was speaking, suddenly Jia Dongxu smelled a special fragrance, which made him feel 100 times more energized. Turning his head, he saw Qinhuai Ru standing pretty beside him. Suddenly, Jia Dongxu was stunned. Qinhuai Ru's fair face blushed a bit, and her big eyes were watery and seductive, like peach blossoms that made people addicted. Especially, Qinhuai Ru exuded a special fragrance, which made Jia Dongxu uncontrollably excited. Is this a woman? Jia Dongxu thought in a daze. It's really very attractive. I don't know why, but Jia Dongxu felt stiff all over. Dongxu, let's go. Qinhuai Ru saw Jia Dongxu in a daze and lowered her hand with a flushed face. Hurry up and go back, what are you looking at? Jia Dongxu laughed heartily and said, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Let's hurry back. Jia Dongxu got on the bike and it almost flew. He couldn't wait to go back, quickly finished the banquet, and then entered the bridal chamber. He wanted to figure out why Qinhuai Ru had such a charming fragrance on her body. Are all girls so fragrant? What a strange look. As a young man, Jia Dongxu is very puzzled, curious, and eager for this kind of fragrance. The bride is back now. Look, 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 it's so beautiful. Dongxu, your wife really smells good. Su Damao, get out of here. Don't suck your nose like a dog, Jia Dongxu pushed Su Damao away and said as if protecting the calf. Is Su Damao a dog? Run to Qinhuai Ru's side, sniffing and sucking. What do you really want to do? Jia Dongxu felt like he had suffered a big loss. After a moment, Qinhuai Ru, who was shy and hesitant, was carried by Jia Dongxu, holding up her wine glass. Jia Dongxu. Huairu, this is Grandpa 1, this is Grandpa 2, this is Grandpa 3. Qinhuai Ru shyly toasted. Zhonghai laughed heartily and said, okay, Dongxu has grown up. Ha ha ha, drink less, don't be weak at night. Jia Dongxu was immensely bold and said, it's okay. On this joyful day, everyone should eat and drink well. Don't be polite to me, Jia Dongxu. The neighbors in the yard looked at the soup on the table and fell into silence. Mad, there are only 2 or 3 slices of meat per table, is that enough to make everyone eat and drink well? Jia Dongxu didn't care about these things and continued to toast Qin Huairu. He Yuzhu secretly said, Brother Dongxu, didn't Cao Guang come? Jia Dongxu frowned and immediately said, don't care about him. In fact, he did not invite Cao Guang, so of course Cao Guang did not come. Come on, come on, come on, let's have a drink. Huairu, this is a silly pillar. Outside, it was lively and bustling, but inside Cao Guang's house, it was quiet and warm like spring. As for Jia Dongxu not notifying Cao Guang was not angry. This way, it saves money. Although he has earned a few hundred yuan in the past 2.5 years, he cannot spend the money recklessly. Especially now that we have a family system, we will definitely have more children in the future. There will be more places to spend money in the future. So, Cao Guang was also unwilling to go. Besides, the banquet of the Jia family may not be as good as Cao Guang's own. He is a 4th-level fitter, although he cannot do a lot of work due to physical problems. The treatment has not been reduced because Cao Guang is still guiding his disciples. It has a significant impact. So in life, Cao Guang's days are better than most people in the yard. However, he has also read novels and knows that in a courtyard house, one should avoid eating. Except for Rainwater occasionally eating something from Cao Guang, he only occasionally gave some to the old lady in the backyard. The old lady's character is beyond Cao Guang's control. At least there is an old lady in this courtyard, and the trouble outside the courtyard is much less. Soon, it started eating outside. Cao Guang was not hungry, so he sat cross-legged on the bed and learned to meditate. This meditation was learned through watching TV during the time of the virus, which can strengthen the body and keep fit. Cao Guang has been studying for 2 years and the results are not very good, but it can make him feel more comfortable. Send it into the bridal chamber. While Cao Guang was meditating, there was a lot of noise outside. Qinhuai Ru was shyly escorted back into the house by Jia Dongxu. Then, Qinhuai Ru looked at the new blanket and felt even more shy. Thinking about the evening, her big eyes watered up and she couldn't help but bite her lips. Jia Dongxu said, Huairu, go brush your teeth. You're going to have a wedding tonight. Hee, I'll go eat with everyone. Qinhuai Ru was shy and said, I understand. You should drink less and have a bridal chamber. Don't worry, there won't be much to drink, it's okay. Jia Dongxu confidently went out for a drink. Qinhuai Ru let out a sigh, and Jia Dongxu asked her to brush it. She must know why. Isn't it just for kissing her? Moreover, before coming, my mother also taught Qinhuai Ru a lot of things. At this moment, Qinhuai Ru remembered the things in her mind and felt shy and covered her legs. How embarrassing. If today passes, I will become a woman. My mother said that if she becomes a woman, her fragrance will disappear. Qinhuai Ru still felt a bit disappointed in her heart. After all, she is now a girl, and if she becomes a woman, she may lose a lot of things. But she has a good figure and a big butt. The villagers all say that she is easy to raise. Otherwise, they wouldn't marry into the city either. I don't know if Dongxu's body is good or not. Qinhuai Ru murmured in her heart, somewhat worried. Because I heard from the women in the village that women with big buttocks are difficult to deal with. Jia Dongxu is as thin as a hemp stick. Can it be done? Qinhuai Ru took a toothbrush and hid in the room to brush her teeth. Soon her mouth was full of foam. Thinking with suspicion and anticipation towards Jia Dongxu in my heart. Qingming outing and happy reading. charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 4. Qin Huairu entered the wrong room and personally delivered the door. You are listening at novel full.audio. The wedding banquet lasted until the afternoon. Although there aren't many dishes, there are many people and excitement. Plus drinking, it's noisy and the most time-consuming. On a happy day, although everyone was not happy eating, they did not cause any trouble for Jia Dongxu's family. Huairu and Su Dumao, pulling Jia Dongxu to make a drink. Especially Huairu, who drank some wine. His mind was filled with the peach blossom eyes of Qinhuai Ru, and he felt both uncomfortable and jealous. Jia Dongxu, this bastard, is really lucky to have found Qin Huairu's beautiful and hot wife. Oh my goodness, I'm not open-minded. Beautiful and delicate in appearance. Protruding and upturned, white, tender, and hydrated. Jia Dongxu from Dog Day, why is he so lucky? Qinhuai Ru is tall and has a good figure. Her facial features are delicate, and her peach blossom eyes are very attractive. Especially when she smiles, it feels like a cat paw tickling in your heart. Huairu, big and small, where can we bear this? In just a short while, Qinhuai Ru became the white moonlight of Huairu. Dongxu, drink, you must drink. Huairu felt depressed and pulled Jia Dongxu crazy to drink. As soon as Jia Dongxu entered the bridal chamber, such a good Qin Huairu had to bear the stain. Huairu held a flame in his heart. I wish I could replace Jia Dongxu. I still pity Qinhuai Ru when I see her. She wore rouge and was very charming, but it also had an impact on the girl's charm. If you have a plain face, it is white, tender, and hydrated, it will definitely be more charming. Although she comes from a rural background, she does not have any arrogance or vulgarity of rural women. Instead, she is like a young lady from a scholarly family, gentle and weak, like a little white flower full of protective desire. Beside him, Su Dumao also looked jealous and raised his glass, saying, "That's right, you must drink more. Dongxu, you can't handle us on this joyful day today." Good day, Jia Dongxu. It's really unlucky to have eaten dog poop, my luck is bursting. You can find such a beautiful woman, it's unbelievable. Are rural girls so beautiful? Su Dumao felt jealous in his heart. Everyone wanted a beautiful woman, but once he got married, everyone would feel uncomfortable. This is everyone's inner thoughts. Good things, we can skip them, but they can't be used by other men either. Once used, isn't it not clean anymore? Has it been defiled? Su Dumao felt jealous and drank again. Jia Dongxu is also a man. As soon as he saw the expressions on Su Dumao and Huairu's faces, Jia Dongxu immediately knew what these two dogs were thinking. This is because I have a crush on Qinhuai Ru. But at this moment, Jia Dongxu was not angry, but rather very proud. Previously, I heard that Jia Dongxu had found a rural girl, but many people mocked Jia Dongxu, saying that he was not promising and only looked at people's faces. He wants to ask the neighbors of the quadrangle courtyard now, if it's just Qinhuai Ru's face, you can say whether you're greedy or not. Do you envy me or not? When a woman is beautiful enough, are other flaws still called flaws? Jia Dongxu's face was flushed with excitement, as if floating in the clouds. His beautiful little days are about to start tonight. In the future, be sure to stay up late. Sleep without closing the window. Angry to death these bastards. Especially, seeing the jealous expressions that Su Dumao and Huairu tried to conceal. Jia Dongxu was even more pleased in his heart. The beautiful women you two couldn't get, tonight, I, Jia Dongxu, want to have a wedding 18 times. One less time is not enough. One less time is a lack of respect for Qinhuai Ru. Dog thing, watching Qinhuai Ru marry me. Jia Dongxu feels heartbroken, right? Is heartache not yours? Jia Dongxu laughed heartily and said, ha ha ha, okay, silly pillar, Dumao, we are good brothers. Come on, drink more, drink more. Su Dumao chuckled and said, why don't you shout out your sister.In.law and let's have a drink too? We'll all be in the same yard in the future, and we'll get to know each other better. Jia Dongxu was extremely confident and glanced at Su Dumao with a vague expression. All men, who doesn't know whose thoughts are drinking alcohol. Do you want to drink, kid? Your special mother wants to see my daughter.In.law shine more. However, Jia Dongxu paid no attention at all. How can one show off one's abilities by taking a beautiful daughter.In.law and hiding it? Don't show off, who knows your wife is beautiful? Who would be jealous of themselves? So Jia Dongxu turned his head and shouted, Huairu, come out quickly. In the room, Qin Huairu, who had just brushed her teeth, ran out in a panic and said, what's wrong? Come here, drink, hurry up. Jia Dongxu waved drunkenly and said with a domineering smile, you should be a bit domineering with your wife. What does family status mean? Upon hearing these words, Qin Huairu felt a bit uneasy. What did Jia Dongxu treat me as Qin Huairu? However, she still walked over with a shy smile on her face. Su Dumao saw Qin Huairu's shy expression and felt dizzy. He chuckled foolishly and said, sister-in-law, hee, drink. Silly Zhu couldn't think anymore. Hee, Qin Jia, drink. He deliberately didn't call his sister.In.law, his intentions were sinister. Jia Dongxu quickly felt dizzy. Qin Huairu had never had much alcohol before, and after a few drinks, her face turned red and her eyes became blurred. Jia Dongxu was escorted back home by Su Dumao and Heyuzhu, but he didn't leave, leaving behind a commotion. They deliberately procrastinate. Although Qin Huairu has already married Jia Dongxu, there are some things that cannot be avoided. But if Jia Dongxu could delay his wedding, it would also be possible to preserve Qin Huairu's purity for a while, wouldn't it? This commotion made it dark. Qin Huairu is also annoyed. Jia Zhang cursed fiercely and said, go ahead, Dongxu has drunk too much. We'll play tomorrow, we'll play tomorrow. Su Dumao chuckled and said, Aunt Jia, Dongxu has drunk too much. It's not possible to have a wedding, why don't I? Jia Zhang glared and said, I'll tear your mouth apart. Hey, don't hit. Su Dumao fled in embarrassment. Quickly, the others in the room were also driven away. Qin Huairu stood up and tidied up the messy things. However, Jia Zhang cursed and returned to his place, secretly counting the money without any intention of helping. Qin Huairu cleaned up and opened the door. Who is it? Jia Zhang asked excitedly. Qin Huairu said, Mom, me, Huairu. I'll go to the restroom and come back soon. Jia Zhang felt relieved and said, oh, go back quickly. It's cold outside. Jia Zhang counted the money and blew the lamp first. Then he secretly hid the money, afraid of being seen. Qin Huairu was not familiar with her life path, so she searched for the restroom for a while before slowly returning. According to the memory in her mind, Qin Huairu pushed the door into the room, smeared black, and came to the bedside, smelling a faint smell of alcohol. Qin Huairu murmured, oh, Dongxu is sleeping so soundly. She was a bit disappointed. Does this bridal chamber just end like this? Qin Huairu sadly untied her clothes, the room was too hot. She was a bit strange and said, it wasn't so warm just now, was it because the door was closed for a while before the room warmed up? So Qinhuai Ru took off her intimate clothes again. Unveiling the blanket, she shyly lay down inside. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 5. Qin Huai Ru begs for mercy, Jia Dongxu dreams of a bridal chamber. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Cao Guang was confused and felt something was wrong. How could there be a woman in his arms? In the afternoon. It's too noisy outside. Others eat and drink heavily, drink and eat meat. Cao Guang was alone in the room, feeling bored. So at night, he heated up some leftovers and took out his own Maotai liquor, eating and drinking alone. In winter, drink some wine to warm up. I can also sleep more soundly. He didn't drink much either. At this moment, when Cao Guang woke up in a daze, he felt something was wrong, with a charming fragrance emanating from his nose. This is the taste of a girl. Cao Guang's mind was shaken. Although he was weak and sick, he was actually the body of a young man. Who can bear this? Combined with the strong alcohol, Cao Guang couldn't hold it anymore. Ah, Dongxu. Qin Huairu snorted with some fear and nervousness, saying, "Are you awake?" Dongxu. What the hell is that? Cao Guang shook his head and remained silent, burying his head in hard work. But his body was weak, and after only a few breaths, Cao Guang was exhausted and couldn't hold on anymore. Cao Guang felt a tingling sensation in his heart. Feeling dull in my heart, I activated the Sage mode. Ding! Congratulations on the growth of the host family and the first step of spreading branches and leaves, ding. As it is the first time that branches and leaves have been scattered, the target's identity is uncertain, and the system has issued a special encouragement reward, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Super Soldier Serum, Super Soldier Serum. Improved version, no sequelae, same as Captain Ugly, no need for nutrients, injection can enhance physical fitness, painless and stronger. Cao Guang activated the fresh mode and already felt something was wrong in his mind. He is sleeping soundly, how many people are there in his arms? Is it the thief Jia Zhang? Isn't that right? The thief stole something, why did he steal it into his arms? Moreover, the delicate fragrance of this young girl is not that of Jia Zhang. The other person's skin is silky and tender, with a wide waist and buttocks, which is very top-notch. Moreover, in the feeling, it feels like I have taken a bath intentionally, white and tender, without any filth. So, is this Qinhuai Ru? Cao Guang was surprised and a bit confused in his heart. But now I've done it all at this moment. Cao Guang was shocked and said, Super Soldier Serum. This is good, it's still an improved version. It doesn't require nutrients and is painless and reinforced. Grandma's leg, just so my physical fitness can recover. Cao Guang silently recited in his heart. Receive rewards. The next moment, a syringe appeared in the palm of the hand. Cao Guang didn't even think about it and gave his buttocks a shot. Hiss. Cao Guang took a deep breath and said, "It hurts a bit." But soon, a warm energy spread throughout the body, transforming the body. Name. Cao Guang. Life. 20/2258 Status. Very healthy physical fitness. Super strengthening skill. Level 4 fitter, degenerating, wife. None descendants. None inheritance. None. Cao Guang suddenly realized that his body had become stronger, as if it had become infinitely powerful. Moreover, I have stopped coughing and my health has also improved. Cao Guang suddenly became excited and said, I have developed myself. Just then, suddenly, Cao Guang felt like he was being hugged. Qin Huairu closed her eyes, blushed and shyly hugged Cao Guang, saying, Dongxu, it's okay, I won't dislike you. Cao Guang lowered his head to look, and even without any lighting, he could still see the appearance of Qin Huairu after being strengthened. At this moment, Qin Huairu's face was shy and charming, with her eyes closed. She obediently hugged Cao Guang's waist, a little bird clinging to people. Cao Guang's mouth curved as he said, taking a minute off tonight is disrespectful to Qin Huairu. Can you throw out the fat that was delivered to your door? Besides, Qin Huairu is like this, even if we drive her away now. I can't explain myself clearly either. I'm not sure, but I'll be beaten by Jia Dongxu and Jia Zhang. Since that's the case, why not be more thorough? Qin Huairu was shocked in her heart and said, Dongxu, why are you? At the next moment, she couldn't speak. Dongxu, take a break. Rest. Rest for 1 minute. It's just disrespect towards Jia Dongxu. Cao Guang chuckled and refused to rest. The strengthening of super soldiers, with physical strength comparable to that of Captain Ugly. Not to mention being a skilled Qin Huairu, even a widow Qin Huairu, Cao Guang can beat dozens at once. However, to be honest, one-hand Qinhuai Ru is really just one word. Cao Guang has a deep understanding. Hey, this Jia Dongxu is really a beast, he's also very capable of making trouble. Intermediate Court. At He Yuzhu's house, He Yuzhu was drunk and opened his eyes, moving his ears. So he muttered and cursed sourly in his heart. Jia Dongxu from Dog Day pretended to be drunk. No rest, right? How long has it been? Qin Jia is so pitiful, crying her heart and lungs apart backyard. Su Dumao's family. Su Dumao tossed and turned, unable to sleep, with the figure of Qin Huai in his mind. Suddenly, Su Dumao stood up with jealous eyes and said, Oh my goodness, why treat Jia Dongxu so well and let him find such a beautiful wife? Pooh, you dog, you don't know how to cherish fragrance and jade at all. Poor Qinhuai Ru. Zhonghai's family. Zhonghai and his aunt tossed and turned, suddenly muttering to themselves, Dongxu, did you drink medicinal wine? How could you make such a fuss? A big mother pulled Zhonghai. Zhonghai was startled and said, Sleep. A middle-aged woman sighed and listened to Qin Huairu's crying, struggling to fall asleep. Jia Dongxu's home. Jia Zhang suddenly grinned in a daze and said, Dongxu is quite impressive. He's making a fuss. Hurry up and give birth to a chubby grandson. Jia Zhang turned over and fell asleep happily. On the other side. Jia Dongxu was soundly asleep, and in his sleep, he even scratched his thighs with his hands and scratched them. Suddenly, he unconsciously touched his head. Like in a dream, wearing a hat, my head feels a bit heavy. Jia Dongxu, drunk, turned over, hugged the pillow, and grinned, Hee Huairu. The pillow quickly deformed. The next day. Because everyone slept very late last night, I woke up a bit late today. Jia Dongxu had a headache. Open your eyes in a daze. The first thing that woke up was that Jia Dongxu thought of last night's bridal chamber, which was really exciting. Qin Huairu has been crying all along. So Jia Dongxu's proud arm stretched out to the side, and then his big hand touched it. This touch left a void. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 6. Jia Dongxu. Hey, where's my wife? You are listening at novelfull.audio. 6. Jia Dongxu. Hey, where's my wife? Jia Dongxu turned his head in confusion and looked at the empty bed, his face puzzled. He sat up, scratched his head, and muttered in confusion, Where's my wife? No, where's the person? He is very puzzled. Last night, Qin Huairu kept crying. He, Jia Dongxu, was fierce and fierce, killing in all directions. He drifted in a bloody rain, and with a wave of his hand, billions of elite soldiers fought against him. Jia Dongxu is very confident and proud of his own strength. Otherwise, Qinhuai Ru wouldn't have cried all the time. But how come when I wake up, my wife is gone? Jia Dongxu looked around in confusion, got up, put on his clothes, and walked out. Coincidentally, Jia Zhang is picking vegetables at the entrance. After all, Qin Huairu had just married and cried so hard last night. Jia Zhang still has to show off in order to have a grandson. As for Qin Huairu becoming pregnant in the future, Jia Zhang no longer needs to take proactive care of her. Pregnant, can Qinhuai Ru still run? can only accept fate. So, early in the morning, Jia Zhang pretended to pick vegetables without disturbing Jia Dongxu and Qin Huairu, let alone knowing that there was only Jia Dongxu in the room. Jia Dongxu grabbed his head and it still hurt a bit. "Mom, where's Huairu?" "Qinhuai Ru." Jia Zhang, who was picking vegetables, was taken aback for a moment, and her gaze also became bewildered. "Isn't she in the room? Didn't she come out?" Then, Jia Zhang frowned and cursed, "You said they come from the countryside diligently, bah. On the first day of marriage, they just sleep in and don't even know how to act. Come and become the Empress Dowager, let me serve her." Jia Dongxu can't handle so much anymore. When he heard Jia Zhang's words, Jia Dongxu didn't think much. He was anxious in his heart. Can Jia Dongxu still not be sure if Qin Huairu is in the room? So, Jia Dongxu suddenly felt something was wrong. "Mom, what are you talking nonsense about? Huairu is not in the room." "Not in the room?" Jia Zhang was also stunned. "It shouldn't be. I've been up for hours and haven't seen her come out. Even if it's going out, it's time to come back." Jia Dongxu frowned as he didn't realize something was wrong. Huairu can't go out to buy groceries, did he find the wrong way? Thinking of this, Jia Dongxu suddenly became anxious and got up to walk out. I don't know how many people miss the beautiful wife who just got married. Jia Dongxu really cares in his heart. What if he fools the wrong people and gives them an advantage? Moreover, the current 49 cities are not peaceful. Enemy spies, gangs are everywhere. If Qin Huairu falls into the hands of any bad person, she will be in dire straits. Jia Dongxu first asked his early neighbors, all of whom said they had not met Qin Huairu. Jia Dongxu suddenly became anxious and panicked, wanting to go out and find him. Jia Zhang originally wanted to curse a few words, after all, the new wife needs education, otherwise what if she doesn't serve her mother.in-law in the future? Seeing Jia Dongxu's flustered appearance, Jia Zhang also panicked. Isn't this new daughter.in-law running away? Isn't that possible? These days, people from all walks of life often engage in fraudulent marriages. Moreover, if Qinhuai Ru had gone out, she should have returned by now. Did Qinhuai Ru not like this marriage, or did she discover the reality of their family? Feeling cheated. Running back to the countryside overnight. But this bridal chamber is already a bridal chamber, she doesn't want a reputation anymore. Jia Zhang judged others by herself, and reputation was not important. Therefore, she felt that Qin Huairu, like herself, was shameless, had thick skin, and did not care about reputation. Jia Zhang became even more anxious and quickly sought out Zhonghai. What? Qinhuai Ru ran away. Zhonghai was having breakfast when he saw Jia Zhang coming over. Zhonghai suddenly felt something was wrong and unhappy, but he didn't expect such an outrageous thing to happen. Why did you run away? Did you bully someone's new wife? Jia Zhang, it's not me, Zhonghai, who said about you. Sometimes you're really not a person. Everyone knows what kind of virtue you have. Don't you know how to restrain yourself just as your new wife enters the door? Upon hearing these words, Jia Zhang immediately felt aggrieved. She felt that she was wronged. Yes, she found many ways to deal with Qin Huairu and make her obedient. But isn't this something that hasn't been done yet? Jia Zhang was very aggrieved and said, "Oh my goodness, is Jia Zhang the kind of mother.in-law who bullies her daughter.in-law? Besides, I just got married and I can't even hurt her in time. I woke up early this morning and didn't see her go out." When Dongxu got up, he said Qin Huairu wasn't in bed. Tell me, on the first day of our wedding, she didn't stay in bed and run around for what? Zhonghai realized that Jia Zhang was not a good person, but there was no need to cause trouble for Qin Huairu on the first day. After a moment of thought, he said, "Don't complain yet. Hurry up and find someone." Did the people in the yard ask? Jia Zhang said, I've asked, but they all said they haven't seen her. Zhonghai quickly stood up and said, go ask again, ask a few more questions, maybe someone will see it. I'll go out and find it, and it's best to find it. Zhonghai left the door and called out Huairu. He asked the disciples of the Qinhuai Ru family and asked Huairu to visit the Qinhuai Ru family. Huairu was confused and said, what? Qin ran away. Zhonghai frowned and said, don't talk nonsense, I don't know the truth. Huairu immediately clenched his fist and looked angry, how could it be fake? I'll tell you, last night, Qin cried so hard that she must have suffered a lot. Zhonghai was speechless, looking at Huairu like a fool. He said to himself, you truly deserve to be a foolish pillar. Is Qin Huairu crying? That's clearly tears of happiness, but I can't tell how happy my heart is. Zhonghai was also too lazy to explain, alright, go find it quickly. Huairu is also very happy. Qin has run away, and she may not be willing to marry Jia Dongxu, who doesn't know how to cherish fragrance and jade. Maybe, Huairu will have a chance. Immediately, Huairu got up, his face unhappy, and he ran out happily. Although I apologize to Jia Dongxu. Moreover, Qinhuai Ru is not clean either. But when beauty comes first, who cares about this flaw? Running out of the house, Huairu stopped and thought for a moment. He turned his head, washed his face, and tidied up his hair. We will officially meet soon, and Huairu wants to leave a good impression on his future parents-in-law. By the way, let me showcase my cooking skills. As for reporting back. Don't tease me, Qin family village is so far away and it's freezing cold. It's not easy for him to go once, even if it's not easy. Stay at night and get close to Qin Jia. Huairu couldn't help but chuckle when he thought of this. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 7. Zhonghai. Qinhuai Ru is dead. You are listening at novel full.audio. 7. Zhonghai. Qinhuai Ru is dead. Huairu rushed out of the house, dressed up handsome and running straight outside. Inside a courtyard house. Zhonghai pulled his left and right neighbors and began to inquire one by one. What? Qinhuai Ru ran away. Hurry up and find someone, there shouldn't be any accidents. It's just that, in the future, we can't just ruin the honor of our yard. Jia Zhang, it's not that I'm talking about you. You can just be bad on a regular basis. As soon as this new daughter.in.law enters, you can be bullied and left. Jia Zhang's face was full of innocence. Faced with the accusations from her neighbors in the yard, Jia Zhang was speechless. After all, at this moment, she offended everyone and dared not speak back. If Qin Huairu really had an accident in the courtyard, then the problem would be too big. At that time, not to mention the shame of the yard, the honor of the yard will not be related to them. This is related to the interests of the entire yard. If Jia Zhang dares to speak, everyone will punish her. Jia Zhang is arrogant, but she is not really a fool. It's okay to catch one or two bullies on a regular basis. If she really dares to provoke public anger, she won't be able to survive. Zhonghai's face was gloomy, and on the first day of Qin Huairu's wedding, the person disappeared. What is this for? Performing a disappearing she. This is too scary. Early in the morning, who could bear this fright? However, as he kept asking, Zhonghai's anger grew stronger and stronger because he had never seen Qin Huairu before. There are other people in the yard who wake up early, but they all say they haven't seen Qin Huairu. Moreover, some people say that when they go out, the doors are all hanging upside down, which indicates that Qin Huairu did not go out. So, where did Qin Huairu go? Zhonghai suddenly felt a little frightened in his mind. Couldn't it be Qin Huairu who died? After all, last night Qin Huairu cried so heartrendingly, was it Dongxu who acted too harshly? At this thought, Zhonghai was frightened in his heart. Grandpa, Su Dumao's eyes rolled and he murmured softly, I'm not gossiping. This Dongxu is going too far. Yesterday, Qin Huairu cried so sadly. It was like killing a pig, and I was scared to hear it. I'm afraid it wasn't someone who gave it. Zhonghai's face changed and he said, Dumao, do you also think Qin Huairu has died? Su Dumao was taken aback for a moment, and his heart said, what's dead? Did you die for something? Is Jia Dongxu so fierce? No, I think Qin Huairu felt like Jia Dongxu was a beast, so she scared away. However, Su Dumao's eyes rolled and he said, I didn't say that. Grandpa, please don't talk nonsense. Su Dumao kept an eye out that he couldn't be dragged down. Zhonghai's mouth twitched. Although Su Dumao refused, the hint just now was exactly the same as Zhonghai's thought. Zhonghai squinted his eyes and said, Go, call the security department. Now, there are only two situations left. Either Qin Huairu ran back to the countryside, or Qin Huairu had an accident. But the door hung upside down, and everyone said they didn't see Qin Huairu go out, which was very obvious. Qin Huairu didn't even go out. Did Qin Huairu climb over the wall and go out? Not to mention how she cried and hurt so deeply yesterday, even Qin Huairu, a woman, couldn't break through this high wall. So, there may only be one truth left. Zhonghai squinted his eyes and looked at the closed door of the Jia family, his gaze terrified, as if he could see the body of Qin Huairu, who had died without closing his eyes. So, Zhonghai chose to call for the security department, and he didn't touch on this matter. It's too dangerous. Upon hearing Zhonghai's words, Jia Zhang's face changed and she let out a loud creak as she sat down on the ground, saying, What's wrong with this foot? Grandpa, you can't call the security department. With this shout, our family is finished. Zhonghai squinted his eyes and said, Where is Dongxu? Jia Zhang said, Dongxu has gone out to find someone. Zhonghai sneered in his heart, What about looking for someone? I'm afraid he took the opportunity to run away. However, without explanation, Zhonghai said seriously, We must call the security department. A living person cannot disappear in our yard without any reason. Cao Guang's house door is tightly closed. The room is very warm, and the air is filled with a strong smell of smell. It's a mess outside. Cao Guang, he also woke up long ago. He was injected with super soldier serum and his physical fitness was comparable to that of Captain Ugly. Cao Guang is no longer the sickly seedling in front of him. Now, he is extremely energetic and can recover with a simple rest. Cao Guang did not care about external affairs. He opened his eyes and looked at Qin Huairu beside him, feeling very satisfied. Qin Huairu still had tears on her face and her eyes were swollen from crying. She scattered her jet black hair, sleeping soundly without any intention of waking up. Begonia sleeps in spring, but that's all. Although Qinhuai Ru comes from the countryside, she is actually a girl. Although she is strong, she can still a few times at the beginning. Later on, all that remained was begging for mercy. Cao Guang, on the other hand, is very strong after the evolution of his physical abilities. Invincible in 100 battles, not fatigued. It was dark yesterday and I didn't observe much. Cao Guang is also an honest and upright man, with only one characteristic, that's being down to earth and willing to work. If you can do something, don't nag. So, at this moment, Cao Guang began to appreciate it. It's really a complete view. After enjoying it, Cao Guang was very satisfied. To be honest, Qinhuai Ru is really good. Everything that has been tried is agreed upon. Cao Guang is very satisfied. At this moment, the cries of Jia Zhang came from outside again. Cao Guang frowned and looked up at the door, only to realize that it was dawn. The yard was filled with chaotic sounds. Cao Guang's heart twitched and he said, isn't it because he noticed that Qin Huairu was not there, so everyone is looking for someone, right? Thinking of this, Cao Guang felt a little guilty. But soon. Cao Guang sneered again, his gaze confident, I can't leave Qin Huairu here. If not, I won't be able to explain it clearly even if they kick the door later. This matter must be resolved properly. Hey, with it. Cao Guang's gaze was confident, and he already had a clever plan in his mind on how to solve this matter. So. Cao Guang is no longer in a hurry. Then lie down, embrace Qinhuai Ru, and sleep soundly. Qinhuai Ru seemed to be awakened by a startle. She spoke in her sleep. Qinhuai Ru said, please spare me. She pleaded vaguely. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 8. Jia Dongxu describes the details of the bridal chamber to prove himself. You are listening at novel full.audio. 8. Jia Dongxu describes the details of the bridal chamber and proves that he is truly capable. Jia Dongxu, what are you doing? Are you in such a hurry? Why run around without accompanying my wife to sleep in the morning? Dongxu, I heard you got married. How's it going? Are you enjoying your wedding? Jia Dongxu was running on the road, sweating profusely. I met many people I knew and greeted him. Jia Dongxu squeezed out a smile. As soon as he mentioned the bridal chamber, he proudly raised his chin and said, get out of here, miss your wife. Go find it yourself. Although Jia Dongxu couldn't find Qin Huairu, he felt depressed in his heart. But isn't he just married? He was still very satisfied with the bridal chamber he went to last night. Of course, this kind of satisfaction doesn't need to be told to these people. Jia Dongxu ran to the courtyard. Running, Jia Dongxu felt something was wrong. Scratching his head, he said in confusion, no, isn't my bed too neat? Did I wake up too quickly and misread? Hiss, why don't you have memories of details? Jia Dongxu patted his head, pondering deeply, but couldn't recall the details of the bridal chamber. He was certain that he was indeed a bridal chamber. But these details, why can't you figure it out? Did you drink too much last night? Can't remember. Jia Dongxu muttered, I won't drink any more today. When I find Qin Huairu, I must study the details. This matter, Jia Dongxu didn't find the right person. Finding Qin Huairu is useless. Finding Cao Guang is the most serious thing, and he is most familiar with these details. Jia Dongxu ran back to the courtyard, sweating profusely. At first glance, the entire yard was in a mess. Zhonghai sat on a stool with a dark face, his face gloomy. Su Damao was beside him, whispering softly, his eyes turning, not knowing what bad idea he had. Anyway, the more Su Damao said, the darker Zhonghai's face became. As for Jia Zhang, she was sitting on the ground now, crossing her legs, patting her thighs with her big hands, shouting the name of Lao Jia, as if she was performing a great summoning spell. Jia Dongxu walked over dejectedly and said, Mom, have you found anyone? Jia Zhang regained his senses and said, Dongxu, you have returned, haven't you found it? Jia Dongxu's heart sank, what does it mean that I haven't found it? Did Qinhuai Ru really run back to the countryside? It shouldn't be. This time we got married, although we didn't give much dowry, our family also bought a sewing machine. Qinhuai Ru should be satisfied. Jia Dongxu shook his head in silence and said, no, I'll go to the countryside again. Not far away. Zhonghai looked puzzled and said, Dongxu, have you come back? In Zhonghai's reasoning. Jia Dongxu has run away, Qinhuai Ru has already died, after all, crying heart and lungs, like killing a pig. Unexpectedly, Jia Dongxu returned. Jia Dongxu nodded and said, Grandpa, I just went out to look around but couldn't find anyone. I guess I'll go back to the countryside and take a look. No one found. Is this a cover-up or something? Zhonghai muttered to himself, feeling a bit shaken. Did you really not see Qin Huairu? Jia Dongxu frowned and said, What do you mean, Grandpa? If I see her, I can still look everywhere. Zhonghai became even more puzzled. Judging from Jia Dongxu's expression, it didn't seem like he was pretending. Did Qin Huairu not get killed and really return to the countryside? Jia Dongxu was also depressed, feeling that something was wrong with Zhonghai. How could you tell from Zhonghai's appearance that Jia Dongxu had hidden Qin Huairu? What is he drawing? At this moment, Su Damao chuckled and said, Isn't that right, Dongxu? Did you have your bridal chamber yesterday? Jia Dongxu held his head high and said, That's not right. Why are you asking this? Although I can't recall the details, Jia Dongxu must admit to his bridal chamber for the sake of men's dignity. Even if he gets drunk, Jia Dongxu is also a tough guy. Su Damao chuckled and said, Dongxu, you're already married. Didn't you see Qin Huairu this morning? Jia Dongxu frowned and said, I really didn't see it. Su Damao's gaze was strange and he said, Hey, this is quite unusual. Qin Huairu, who just got married, why did she run away? Dongxu, are you too vulgar? Qin Huairu can't stand you. So, did she run away? Jia Dongxu's face changed and he said, Su Damao, what nonsense are you talking about? Why don't you say it again? Who's being vulgar? Su Damao hid behind Zhonghai and said, This is not what I said. With so many neighbors in the yard, everyone can hear it clearly, right? Just as Jia Dongxu was about to speak, he noticed that something was wrong with the people in the yard, and they looked at each other with eerie eyes. Even Jia Zhang's eyes dodged, secretly looking at him. Jia Dongxu was excited and said, What kind of eyes are you looking at? Why are you looking at me like that? Others dodged their gaze. Qinhuai Ru was crying heart to heart, as everyone knows. A serious person, how could they cry like this? Jia Dongxu, isn't he using any malicious means? This is too bad. Su Damao chuckled and said, Dongxu, to be honest, are you not good at yourself? Jia Dongxu was furious and said, You're talking nonsense. Just say another word and try again. Who can't do it? Who can't do it? Su Damao smiled strangely and said, Qin Huairu is crying so hard that a serious person would behave like this. You must have used some bad means. Qin Huairu couldn't bear it before running away. Big guys, tell me, is this the truth? Someone came forward, and others didn't hide it either. Especially, a group of women in the crowd. Looking disdainfully at Jia Dongxu. Damao is right. Everyone is from the past, who doesn't know your men's abilities. Jia Dongxu, you're not human either. How can you torture a lesbian? I need to report you to the street office. Jia Dongxu, honestly explain, did you bully someone with a wooden stick or something? Jia Dongxu's breath trembles cold. A wooden stick. Do I need this thing, Jia Dongxu? Don't slander me, Jia Dongxu. Do I need this kind of thing, Jia Dongxu? Jia Dongxu trembled coldly and said, Please shut up. I, Jia Dongxu, am not that kind of person. I am in good health and I don't need this kind of thing. The words have just finished. Jia Dongxu saw that Jia Zhang's gaze was eerie. He noticed Jia Dongxu's gaze, and Jia Zhang lowered his head with a guilty expression. Jia Dongxu was confused and said, Mom, what's wrong with you? Do you also suspect me? Jia Zhang's face turned red and she lowered her head, saying, Dong. Dongsu, so many people have heard it. Don't hide it. Puzzy. Jia Dongxu covered his chest and retreated with a face full of collapse. Nonsense, can I not be clear about my own bridal chamber? I, Jia Dongxu, am a real man. I don't need those shameless means. Su Damao, you're really making fun of me. Su Dumao's neck shrank and he chuckled strangely. Dongxu, then tell me, how did you get married? Jia Dongxu. Of course I am. Jia Dongxu tried hard to recall, but there seemed to be no details. This how to say it. Su Dumao smiled strangely and said, you say it, let's analyze it, why don't you say it? That's right, Dongxu. You say it. Dongxu, hurry up and speak up. We are all here to help you analyze and analyze. Dongxu, speak up. Jia Dongxu's mind was buzzing with melon seeds. My face was full of confusion. So, how did my Jia Dongxu's bridal chamber come about? Why don't I have any impression? But do you remember the bridal chamber? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 9. Qin Huairu. Please be quiet, please be quiet. You are listening at novel full.audio. 9. Qin Huairu. Please be quiet, please be quiet. At Cao Guang's home. Qin Huairu frowned and her face was full of pain. The noise outside made Qin Huairu unable to sleep. So, Qinhuai Ru rubbed her eyes coquettishly and woke up. In the next moment, Qinhuai Ru felt as if her whole body had fallen apart, exhausted and in pain. Qinhuai Ru was stunned and said, how could Dongxu be such a beast? She brushed it off and burst into tears. I promised to love her, why don't I know how to pity her so much? Too much, it's simply too much. Qin Huairu turned her head and looked at Jia Dongxu with grievances. But at first glance, Qin Huairu was stunned and said, who is this? Wait, why don't I know this man? Suddenly, Qin Huairu's mind exploded. Yesterday's experience came to mind. Qin Huairu goes to the toilet first. Then, Qin Huairu returned. Then, she pushed the door into the room. Then, take off your clothes and go to bed. Then, Dongxu woke up. Qin Huairu turned her head and looked around, isn't this a new house? She doesn't know her in this room. Did I run to the wrong door? It's done. Qin Huairu was cold all over, looking at the roof in despair. On her wedding night. Unexpectedly ran to the wrong room. It's really a bridal chamber. Just then, a sound came from outside. Qin Huairu perked up her ears and looked in terror, it's the voice of Dongxu. In the yard. Jia Dongxu faced everyone's skeptical gaze, his face full of anger. Jia Dongxu straightened his chest and back, roaring angrily, I tell you, don't look at me. Jia Dongxu is thin. I, Jia Dongxu, am a real man. The details of the bridal chamber. Of course, first. Then. And then. I'm Jia Dongxu very strong. Qin Huairu cried and hated so much, I have an impression. Su Dumao and others had strange eyes. After thinking for a moment, Su Dumao looked at Jia Dongxu with a strange expression and said, Dongxu, are you sure? Jia Dongxu raised his chin and said, as someone without a wife, you definitely don't understand. Even if I say it, you won't understand. Su Dumao's gaze became eerie. In the courtyard, the gaze of others also became eerie. An old sister.In.Law spoke up and said, Dongxu, are you sure you can kiss and get married? Jia Dongxu calmly spoke up, well, I'm not an ordinary kiss. I kiss a bit harshly, so Qin Huairu cried a lot. Let me explain the details to you. This tongue. Balabala. Jia Dongxu finished speaking in one breath. Zhonghai's face was strange. Jia Zhang's face was covered in black lines. Jia Dongxu proudly curled his lips and said, what's wrong? Are you scared? I'm amazing. Cao Guang's house. Qin Huairu's face was strange, and she turned her head to look at the sleeping Cao Guang. Listen to Jia Dongxu's boastful voice in your ear. Qin Huairu felt a little sorry for Jia Dongxu. Mainly, although Jia Dongxu's details are very detailed, they are not as profound and rude as Cao Guang's details. Cao Guang, that really went to Qin Huairu's heart. But soon, Qin Huairu became anxious and said, "What should I do if I change? What should I do?" Qin Huairu secretly grabbed her clothes and began to sneakily put them on. She had just put on her clothes and was tiptoeing towards the door, ready to wait for everyone to leave before sneaking out. As long as the current situation is not grasped. Qin Huairu felt that this matter could still be concealed from the past. Although the details exposed by Jia Dongxu may raise suspicion. But the problem should be not too big. Dongxu, you probably don't care about the path others have taken, do you? Taking the highway, it's more spacious and smooth. Perhaps Dongxu would still be grateful to this man, right? Qin Huairu pondered anxiously in her heart. But she didn't notice. Behind him, Cao Guang slowly opened his eyes and even curled the corner of his mouth. Just as Qinhuai Ru was lying on the door and looking out. Cao Guang on the bed sat up and hugged the blanket, screaming in terror, "Ah ah ah ah." Qinhuai Ru trembled with fear. In the yard. Zhonghai looked at Jia Dongxu with a strange expression, his gaze fixed on his head. His gaze was filled with sympathy. As for Su Damao, there was still a hint of excitement in sympathy, but more jealousy. I don't know who made Qin Huairu cry so sadly. This Jia Dongxu really deserves it, a fool. Jia Dongxu only felt that everyone's eyes were strange, and everyone was looking at his head. Jia Dongxu reached out to touch his head and awkwardly smiled, "Ahem, isn't this marriage? Shaving your head, handsome, right?" Zhonghai stayed in Bengbu and said, "Dongxu, regarding this matter." Zhonghai just spoke up. Suddenly, a scream came. Cao Guang. Ah 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 ah. Everyone was originally looking at Jia Dongxu, but suddenly a loud voice startled everyone and made them tremble. Zhonghai turned his head and covered his chest, looking at Cao Guang's door. Zhonghai's face turned pale with fear and he said, "What's going on? Why did Cao Guang suddenly scream? What happened?" Next to it, Lu Haizhu was smoking and his face looked ugly. "I don't know, this little Cao is really not decent. Everyone is busy looking for Qin Huairu. What's up with him?" On the other hand, Yan Bugue beside him twitched his eyes as if thinking of something, and the corner of his mouth twitched fiercely. "Who are you? Why is it in my room? What did you do to me?" Cao Guang covered the blanket and pointed at Qin Huairu in terror, shouting angrily at the top of his throat. At the door, Qin Huairu's pretty face turned incredibly pale. "Don't say anything, don't make any noise." Cao Guang said with great righteousness, "You fart. Who the hell are you, woman? Why don't you keep me quiet? Come on, there's a thief. Good guy." This sentence. The Qinhuai Ru's brain buzzed with melon seeds, and she felt dizzy and disoriented. It's over. In the yard. A group of people in a daze, upon hearing these words, looked at each other in disbelief and said, "Qinhuai Ru." Zhonghai, Lu Haizhu, and Yan Bugue had strange expressions. They looked at Cao Guang's door and then at Jia Dongxu's door. Good guy, there are 2 windows separated between the doors of these 2 rooms. Plus, the style of this house is the same. So there is only one truth, Qin Huairu went to the wrong door. I slept all night. All of a sudden, the 7 aunties and 8 aunties in the courtyard became excited, if it weren't for the times not allowing it. At this point, everyone began to cross their legs with small benches and melon seeds. Su Damao was also excited and said, "Qin Huairu is in Cao Guang's house." Jia Dongxu's brain buzzed, and his face turned pale. Then, it turned green. He ran over step by step. "Lift your feet." Click. kicked open Cao Guang's door. Hula. Then, Jia Dongxu stood at the door. The other people in the courtyard ran over and, upon seeing it, their eyes immediately dodged. I saw Cao Guang sitting on the bed with bare arms, holding a blanket, and pointing angrily at Qin Huairu. Thief, what did you steal from me? All right, I want to find the police. I want to find the police. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 10. Huairu supports the wall and walks. Beasts. Cao Guang, you. You are listening at novel full.audio. 10. Huairu supports the wall and walks. Beasts. Cao Guang, you don't care at all, do you? In the room, Cao Guang sat on the bed with a blanket and bare arms, pitiful and helpless. Qin Huairu stood beside her with a pale face and frightened eyes. At the door, Jia Dongxu's face brushed green. The head is heavy. It's like winter, someone pitied Jia Dongxu and bought him a precious and shining hat to wear. So what exactly is going on with my bridal chamber? At this moment, Jia Dongxu forgot to get angry. The first thing that came to his mind was his bridal chamber. He didn't understand, he heard Qin Huairu's crying clearly. Explain that you have a bridal chamber. Why is Qinhuai Ru here? Su Damao's eyes were so excited that he almost applauded and said, Cao Guang, you're shameless, you stole someone. As soon as the words fell, they also woke up Zhonghai, Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, and Jia Zhang, who were in a daze. Zhonghai brushed his face and said with a gloomy expression, Cao Guang, look at what you've done. What else do you have to say? Lu Haizhong snorted coldly, to find a police officer, you must find one. Yan Bugui remained silent, frowned, and retreated into the crowd. As for Jia Zhang, her face was already covered in black lines, and she pounced with open teeth and claws, saying, I'll catch and kill you little slut, you shameless stinky man. Brush. Jia Zhang rushed to the bedside, grabbed the blanket, and wanted to expose Cao Guang to everyone. Cao Guang sneered in his heart, but his expression was very angry. I really smoked you, old lady. Dude, you see me helpless and bullying me, right? Did your conscientious dog eat it? Pooh, it's all a special beast. Cao Guang raised his palm. Pop. Slapped Jia Zhang's chubby face. This slap is very powerful. Jia Zhang let out a loud cry and sat down on the ground, his cheeks visibly swollen. Jia Zhang was momentarily stunned, then crossed his legs and slapped his legs, saying, Wow, old Jia, please open your eyes and take a look. Look at your mother, Cao Guang roared angrily. I haven't asked yet. What's going on? Who is she? Third master, how did you look at the gate? You didn't even notice outsiders sneaking into our yard. Grandpa, how did you take care of the yard? This thief has even touched my house. If you don't catch the thief, why do you even say that I'm going to the street to handle it? I'm going to sue you for not being responsible. Zhonghai and Yan Bugui both had a heavy head and were labeled by Cao Guang. Jia Dongxu also regained his senses and his eyes turned red. I killed you, he said. He rushed over. Cao Guang sneered. Seize the opportunity. Grab the blanket with one hand and raise it with the other. Pop. Jia Dongxu covered his face and sat with Jia Zhang, his face full of confusion as he said, how could this sick ghost be so capable of fighting? Stop it. Zhonghai saw that Jia Dongxu had also been beaten, and immediately shouted anxiously, roaring, Cao Guang, stop it for me. How can you hit someone? That's Jia Dongxu's wife, who just got married yesterday. You have caused harm to someone else's wife and even beaten their husband and mother. In law. Why are you so unreasonable? You are still not human. Listen. Listen to how well and skillfully these words are spoken. Causing harm to daughter.In.law and hitting husband and mother.In.law. At least there are no children here. If there were children, wouldn't it be like even the children of the Jia family were beaten together? This sounds too evil, right? However, the men in the yard all cast envious and jealous glances at Cao Guang. What a pity, we also want to learn from Cao Guang. This kid is really lucky. Especially Su Damao, he is already extremely jealous. He wished he could become Cao Guang. It's too satisfying to harm Qinhuai Ru and attack Jia Dongxu and Jia Zhang. The ultimate dream of a man has come true like this. The only person who feels angry is Jia Dongxu. What does it mean to harm Qinhuai Ru? And then you hit me, Jia Dongxu. Upon hearing Zhonghai's words, Jia Dongxu only felt that he was truly a big injustice. Jia Dongxu forgot his fear and said, "Ah, I killed you so badly. It's too humiliating. Excessive. People cannot, at least should not." Jia Dongxu got up and pounced again with red eyes. Cao Guang squinted his eyes and said, "Wait a moment, Jia Dongxu, you wait a moment." Jia Dongxu stopped and stood in front of the bed, gritting his teeth, with red eyes, like a wild beast. "What else do you really want to say?" Cao Guang pointed at Qin Huairu and said, "Is this your wife?" Jia Dongxu broke through the defense again and said, "Why are you still saying that?" Cao Guang's face turned cold and he said, "Jia Dongxu, I killed you and me." Under the blanket, Cao Guang's big foot kicked Jia Dongxu in the face with a loud bang. Jia Dongxu was completely unaware of this move, so he let out a loud snap and sat down on the ground again, sitting with Jia Zhang. Continuing. Cao Guang threw away the blanket. He has quietly put on his pants. Cao Guang jumped out of bed, stomped and rushed over, riding on Jia Dongxu. He raised his fist and smashed it. "I killed you, shameless person. Why did you actually frame me? What a great hatred. Why did you use Qin Huairu to frame me? Are you trying to ruin my reputation? Aren't you looking down on me, Cao Guanghao?" The crowd was stunned, watching Cao Guang waving his fists and listening to his angry and crying complaints. The people in the courtyard were lost in thought. Is Cao Guang really aggrieved? Wait, it seems that what Cao Guang said makes sense. Cao Guang's reputation has indeed been ruined. Is it really intentional by the Jia family? Using a new daughter.In.law to frame Cao Guang is too ruthless, it's too cost-effective. At this moment. Stop it, everyone stop it. The security department is here. Cao Guang, why don't you stop? I am Lu Taizhu. A strong man with 4 or 5 subordinates pushed away Zhonghai and others, ran in, and grabbed Cao Guang. Lu Taizhu's face was dark and he turned his head to glare at Zhonghai, saying, "What are you doing? I don't even know when I saw the fight. That's how you manage your yard?" Zhonghai's blush. Can he say that he was just taken into emotion by Cao Guang's grievance? Zhonghai quickly spoke up and said, "I'm sorry, comrades. The situation is too sudden." Lu Taizhu snorted coldly and looked at Cao Guang, asking, "What's going on? Why did we fight?" Cao Guang, with a tearful tone, said, "Brother Lu, they are too bad. I don't know where I inquired about my potential partner, so Jia Dongxu asked his wife to come into my room. This is ruining my reputation. How could Cao Guang find a wife? Woo, what a sin, why do you bully me, Cao Guang?" Lu Taizhu was confused. When he heard this, there was no problem, but when he listened carefully, why wasn't it right? Lu Taizhu turned his head to look at Qin Huairu and said, "Are you the wife of Dongxu?" Qin Huairu supported the wall, trembling her legs, took a step, frowned, and slowly moved over with a painful expression. "Comrade, I am Qin Huairu, the wife of Dongxu." Lu Taizhu fell silent. Zhonghai fell silent. Su Damao fell silent. The others in the courtyard also fell silent collectively. Everyone looked at Qin Huairu, who was struggling to walk, and turned to Cao Guang in unison. Beast, are you so aggrieved? Remembering the heart-wrenching cries of Qin Huairu yesterday. Everyone suddenly came up with an idea. Cao Guang, you're not your own wife. Your mother really doesn't care. You can use it vigorously, right? This is too much of a beast. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.